Here's how I turned my fish tank from this to this in only 30 days. Before I say how I turned Shrek's swamp into something habitable, you guys gotta understand the history of this aquarium. I first made this 20-gallon fish tank in 2022, so it's been 3 years now, and over time it has had many changes, challenges, and costs. Disclaimer, this is my personal journey from beginner to intermediate level fish keeping. I'll be sharing what led to my mistakes and what led to my success. The first inhabitants were ramshorn snails. I bought 2 of them from my local fish store, and they soon multiplied and got relatively large for their species. In the span of 2 months, tannins in the water emerged. Although they were harmless, I didn't like the look of them, so I used Seachem Purigen, and it slowly went away. Next, I added my 3-dotted gourami for my 10-gallon fish tank, and fostered the American flagfish for my parents' fish tank, and also added 3 guppies. 6 months go by, and most plants are dead besides Java fern, which I glued to rocks. Java fern are hardy plants that are slow growing. I use well water, so my assumptions were I couldn't grow any plants besides plants that can tolerate hard water. And I also had a small amount of Java moss that survived, that is slowly creeping along a rock. Things went well for another 6 months until I had a cyanobacteria spike in the water column. Without proper light, my Java fern died off. I turned to r/aquariums to help solve my issue, and the Redditors told me to find the root issue. However, even after a year, I consider myself a beginner because of how low maintenance my fish tank was, so I didn't know how to find the root issue. The Redditors suggested water changes. However, water change after water change didn't solve the issue. And I read online that UV light sterilizes the water column, so I went on a leg to assume it could solve my issue, which it did. I had success for another year, but due to bad habits with school, laziness, and doom scrolling, my fish tank turned into an algae mess. The breaking point of my fish tank was when I unfortunately forgot to plug in my fish tank heater after a water change. This happening right before my family and I left for a week vacation. Now this doesn't seem like much of a problem, however it was the middle of winter, my fish and plants being tropical. By the time I came back, everything was dead. My 3-spotted gourami died first, and I'm assuming the ammonia killed the 9 guppies I had, besides 1. It was a complete disaster, and the fish tank stunk bad too, and there was decaying material everywhere. I knew something had to change, so I wanted to test my limits and see how fast I can fix a disaster. I sucked the dead fish out. I used my tiny siphon to remove the dead material and algae. I did 5 water changes to fix the smell. This took around 7 hours in the first day because of my primitive tools. I only had a $5 siphon and a 5-gallon bucket. So after the smell went away, I added plants and 2 mystery snails. My grandpa was getting rid of his fish tank, so he gave me his Anubis plant, which I tied to a rock using fishing line. 2 weeks later, my only guppy gave birth to 33 fry. I was pretty excited because these guppy fry will be substitutes for the previous fish loss. So I put the mother guppy in a 5-gallon fish tank so she wouldn't eat her fry. I tried to have some fun with my tank, so I took some moss and attached it to a driftwood stick I added. I should have added a thin layer of moss, but it ended up fine. 20 days go by and most green malm is gone. I added some jungle vallisneria and pearlweed too, 3 honey gouramis, and an Amazon sword plant. I've been doing 50% water changes and dosing with fertilizer to help the plants establish. It's been a month since the disaster, and the tank is looking good. For most of my fish keeping hobby, I struggled with keeping plants and having algae outbreaks. I realized the solution was weekly water changes to get rid of nitrates and ammonia so algae wouldn't have food. Dosing with fertilizer helped the plants grow, which in turn helped them outgrow the algae. I've kept so many aquatic plants. With me, even the most easy plants to grow would die. But after seeing how quickly and prolific jungle vallisneria is, I would recommend it to any beginner fish keeper, if they have a big enough tank for it. If not, you should get floater plants. Now to finalize the video, I'll share what led to my downfall. First and foremost, I was under the false impression that I didn't need to perform water changes. It mostly depends on the fish tank, but for mine and most others, doing water changes will increase the success and longevity of your fish tank. It helps the plants grow and keeps algae at bay. Now, my algae spiked considerably when I swapped my light with a very intense one. This boosted the algae a lot. And I recommend an automatic timer for your lights. I used a GoSun's automatic timer off of Amazon, although any will do. And by not having that automatic timer for my light, I would leave it on for 11 hours a day, and that would bring the algae up a lot. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm just a small YouTube channel right now, so anything will help grow my channel, reach out to more people, and help share the love of fish keeping to everybody.